So this side. So today we'll discuss about a new topic. We have a module called accounts payable module, and in this module we particularly, do the supplier invoicing and supplier payment. And more of like we just, I mean, this module is interconnected with a lot of other modules also. Let us say, for example, your purchase order, where your purchase order being done, and it you'll have the receipts out of it, and after that you'll have in accounts payable you'll have the invoices which is matching to your PO. Then we record those invoices, and in there are, I mean, accounts payable module is in, as I said, it's interconnected with the fixed assets module, where the fixed assets movement happens from your AP to the fixed assets. And it also interconnected with the projects module, where you'll have the project costing related information get transferred from the accounts payable module to the project costing module. So I think in today's session, I'm going to showcase the supplier invoice into Oracle. As you see, this is the screen, right? I've just logged into the system. I'm just clicking on the home page. See, these are the modules you can see over here. Right? These are all various modules you can see over here. So you'll have a dashboard. Payables dashboard is there. Invoice is there. Payment is there. So today we are going to learn how we can do a supplier invoice. Okay. So this is the supplier invoice screen particularly. So this is we call the task list over here, and you can just click on over here. Okay, the moment you click on over here, what do you able to see over here is particularly the invoices, the accounting, the assets and payables periods. Okay, so for the invoices which we need to create, you can see on the top of it create invoices there, and you'll have below down create invoices from the spreadsheet is there, and all these different functionalities we'll see today, the how we can create an invoice. Okay, so create invoice. So this is more of like a supplier invoice we are going to create into the system, and we'll see one by one how it gets created into the system. Okay, so this is your as I said, invoice screen, supplier invoice screen. If you have a open PO, right, identifying PO, and if you want to match the invoice against that PO and the receipts, right, you can provide the PO number over here. So this is identifying PO. Okay, a business unit, as I mentioned in earlier topics, right? What do you mean by business unit? It's more of like operating unit, where all the subledgers mean by your APAR, if we, not a fair literally, I mean other, like you can say inventory, your procurement. So all these, the cash management, everything, all these. Apart from your general ledger modules, you'll have all these modules that is all will have attached to the business unit, where all your transactions get performed. Okay, so let us see, we can provide the business unit over here, US1 business unit. So the moment you have selected US business unit, you can see over here the star mark you can see is always stands for the mandatory information that we need to process, right? Say for example, description, you don't have a star mark, you don't provide any information, that is fine. System will take it up, not a issue. But if you have a star mark, you need to provide this mandatory information. This is a compulsory information that you need to key into the system. Okay. So either you can click on over here in the search button of the supplier. Okay. And if say for example, I know, right? Say for example, there is a supplier ABC supplier. I know the supplier. Just type over here ABC. You can see with ABC what are the supplier system is going to depict before the screen, right? You can choose out of it. Say for example, you don't know, right, what is the suppliers, and click on the search button. A new window is going to open. Provide here ABC. Okay, now search. You can see these two suppliers are available. Click on the second supplier, click on OK. So we have provided this supplier. From this supply, right, we have bought some kind of a goods or services. Now you are going to pay back to this supplier. Now you have a supplier side. Basically, this by default, whenever you provided the supplier, there is a supplier number which is automatically fetching from the supplier database, having this number for this particular supplier. And as well, there is a supplier side also gets attached to a supplier, and there is a legal entity by default which is going to be show up as per the supplier information. Then you will have the invoice number. Say for example, I just provide invoice, some number I'm providing. This is your invoice number screen, and you have to provide invoice number information over here. If you want to provide other than your US dollar, which is the base currency for this particular ledger, say for example, I want to change any currency, other currency, you can do so. System is going to allow you. Okay, click on over here. So say for example, this amount is 10,000. I provided, and type, this is a standard invoice. We have different types of invoice. Standard is there, prepayment is there, debit memo is there, credit memo is there, withholding tax is there, returners release is also there. Okay, so this is more of like a standard invoice. Provided, say this is miscellaneous expenses. Okay, for vendor payment, right? So system showcase you the current date as on today. You can however change this date as per your requirement of the particular date. And there is a payment terms, right? Payment terms is more of like you'll have immediate, other than immediate, which is by default, system is picking, because for this supplier you have set it up payment terms as immediate. However, being a user, you want to change this payment term to any other term. Okay, you can do so. End of the month you want to pay, right? Other than, you can say 2 by 10 net 30. So this is more of like net 30, 30 days payment, net 30, net 45, net 60, net 90. So all these, payment terms are there. So I can choose net 30, say for example. Okay, so you can see over here, the moment I can able to change from the immediate to net 30, system has changed and updated the payment terms. Okay, the term state, system provides what is the term state for this particular invoice. You can provide any kind of a requester name here. Select any individual if you want to provide a requester name. Any kind of attachment you want to attach it over this particular invoice, you can do so. Okay, so that's all. This is called the header part, invoice header part. Okay, then you'll have lines, you'll have taxes, totals. All these information we'll see one by one. There is a so more option is there. If you click on here, there will be more information will be available, right? Like the general, we have provided much of the information over there. Now if you could see, this is the general information that we have provided. In the accounting, you can see over here, this is the liability distribution account, which is will be credited AP liability account, right? The accounting date, you want to change it from the current date to any other date, you can do so. Since conversion rate type, we are going with the base currency with the USD. If you change it to euro or any other currency, system is going to activate this particular fields, and you can able to provide the conversion rate out of it. Okay, this is the document category, the voucher number you can provide. This is more of like for the tax related information we need to provide. So these are all optional information, because this is not, you can see there is no mandatory star mark information over here. These are all optional information. Click on tax. So tax, since this business unit and the ledger and the legal entity all are based out in US, so the taxation country by default falls in the US. Okay, you can see this is various information with related to the tax related information that we need to provide. If any any information is related to the tax. Additional information is nothing but your DFF. The DFF you can add on to the as per the business requirement. You can configure and do the DFF related information. Okay, click on show list now. Now you have provided the information which is 10,000 as USD. Now you can see over here. This is our lines, invoice lines information. Provide 10,000 here, which is the amount. Now distribution set, what does this mean by? So every invoice will have a debit side and a credit side of accounting, right? Debit side there will be expenses, credit side there will be a liability account, right? So liability account system already fetching is already fetching from the configuration standpoint. Okay, the supplier, I mean the AP liability account. Right? Whenever the distribution combination is nothing but it's more of like the expenses account, right? So the expenses account, if you want to add any kind of expenses account, you can do it manually, or if you don't want to do it manually, you can create some kind of a distribution set out of it. So if you provide a distribution set, what happens is that that particular expenses combination based upon this distribution set, system will pick that up. Now say for example, I'm deleting this one distribution set and press tab here. The moment I press tab here, this distribution combination is getting opened up, right? Click on over here. The moment you click on over here, right, you can see this is our segmental structure. I mean, you can say the chart of account segment structure of this particular primary ledger and the business unit, right? You'll have a company, you have LOP, which is line of business, you'll have account, you'll have a cost center, you'll have a product, you'll have intercompany. So by default, you can see there is a by default information which is already fetching from the chart of account. Now, say for example, you want to change the company, right? You can do so based upon any other information that you want to provide. You can do so. Okay. Line of business as well. This is also all the information you can able to see over here. Line of business 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Right? All these informations. Account. This is more of like your chart of account. In the chart of account, you'll have expenses account, right? Revenue account. So you'll have assets and liabilities and the owner's equities account, more of like, correct. So you can choose, say for example, I'm choosing the conference expenses, or else we can again, go down to the system and dig out any kind of expenses which you want to provide. You can do so also. Just click on over here below down arrow and do a search. Do a search. Now you want to search any kind of expenses, right? Just click on the description, provide here expenses. Okay. Now you can see these are the expenses related accounts, right? Freight expenses. You can see all this information. Your acceleration, your operating lease expenses is there. Recruiting expenses, contract expenses, amortization expenses. A lot of informations will be there, right? We can choose any of the expenses. So I'm just choosing over here. Say for example, conference expenses. I'm choosing. Okay. Now the moment I've select, click on OK. Now you can see over here, rest all you can able to change from the default information to any other information, right? You can see the cost center by default it's coming 000. If you want to change it to some other information, you can do so. Okay. Now select all this information, click on OK. Okay. Now we have selected this particular information, right? And select after selecting all this information we just need to click OK. So this is the valid code combination as you can see in the system. Now accounting date, if you want to change from the accounting date to any other date, you can do so. Now if you come right side, right, we have provided miscellaneous expense on the top, system is fetching from there. Now tax classification, so there will be tax classification, I mean tax will be getting calculated based upon the country and I mean county and the city. So as per the tax defined, it will calculate automatically. We'll see that. Okay. So you want to track as I said, you can definitely click on over here, and there has to be asset clearing account has to be provided, isn't it? So that's how the asset related information we have to capture, and this is more of like expenses account, right? If you want to have any kind of project number, right, it's related to your project portfolio management PPM, so you can provide a project number over here, isn't it? So this is all information that we have provided. Now you can see taxes, just drop down list from over here. You can see by default, based upon our location system has calculated the tax based upon the county and the state. Okay, so it's 6.5 and 2.5% respectively based upon the county and state related regulated tax from the US statutory standpoint. Okay, so what is the tax is, you can see as you can see it's $900 amount. Okay, so total what how much it comes, 10,900 it comes. Okay, so now what we have provided is 10,000. So including now the moment tax is being added on to here. Now we have to update over here 10,900, correct? and there could be withholding tax. Let's check on that. So there is a 1099 which is more of like a withholding tax information. As you can see, there is a deduction of 1090 which is US withholding tax, and that has been already deducted. 10,000 which is the transactional tax 900, this 10,900 which I have updated over here, and just save it. The moment you save it, this you see there is a green tick mark over here. Okay, the moment you have a green tick mark over here which is 10,900, that means our invoice lines and distribution everything which is matching into the system. So what is the total payable amount is to the vendor is 9,810. Okay, now you, as you can see, now let me revalidate. See this information, as you see, needs revalidation. Again, I need to revalidate this particular information. So the moment you revalidate, system has got validated this particular invoice over here. As you can see, everything looks good, and the system has validated this particular invoice. Now you want to see this particular accounts, right? I mean the accounting out of it in draft. You can do so, and verify the invoice related accounting before we finally post it to the ledger. There could be some error from the tax related information. So I'm just providing you the information which is more of like the debit and credit side of it. So as you can see, so this is our expenses, and this is our liability. Okay, now you have a withholding tax which has been deducted, which is 1090, and this is the tax. Okay, 900 debit side. So this is how your accounting looks like. Your expenses debited to your AP liability gets credited, and you'll have the tax amount gets debited, and then you'll have the withholding tax gets credited 1090. So this is all about the accounting part of it, of that particular invoice. So this invoice particularly which has been validated and ready for posting to the ledgers. Okay, so in this session we have seen so far how you can do a supplier invoice. In next session we are going to see supplier payment particularly. Okay, so do watch my channel and subscribe my channel for regular notification on the new videos, new sessions which I bring into you. And if you have any kind of a doubts and question, you can definitely reach out to me. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Thank you everyone. 10,000 which is the transactional tax 900, this 10,900 which I have updated over here, and just save it. The moment you save it, this you see there is a green tick mark over here. Okay, the moment you have a green tick mark over here which is 10,900, that means our invoice lines and distribution everything which is matching into the system. So what is the total payable amount is to the vendor is 9,810. Okay, now you, as you can see, now let me revalidate. See this information, as you see, needs revalidation. Again, I need to revalidate this particular information. So the moment you revalidate, system has got validated this particular invoice over here. As you can see, everything looks good, and the system has validated this particular invoice. Now you want to see this particular accounts, right? I mean the accounting out of it in draft. You can do so, and verify the invoice related accounting before we finally post it to the ledger. There could be some error from the tax related information. So I'm just providing you the information which is more of like the debit and credit side of it. So as you can see, so this is our expenses, and this is our liability. Okay, now you have a withholding tax which has been deducted, which is 1090, and this is the tax. Okay, 900 debit side. So this is how your accounting looks like. Your expenses debited to your AP liability gets credited, and you'll have the tax amount gets debited, and then you'll have the withholding tax gets credited 1090. So this is all about the accounting part of it, of that particular invoice. So this invoice particularly which has been validated and ready for posting to the ledgers. Okay, so in this session we have seen so far how you can do a supplier invoice. In next session we are going to see supplier payment particularly. Okay, So do watch my channel and subscribe my channel for regular notification on the new videos, new sessions which I bring into you. And if you have any kind of a doubts and question, you can definitely reach out to me. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Thank you, everyone.